Hi, and welcome back to Blue's Garden. This is my planting beefsteak slash slicer type tomatoes, my main crop tomatoes for 2025. I have already planted plum type, Roma, San Marzano, a couple of other kinds, and I will be planting my cherry tomatoes next weekend. But this weekend is planting my slicer slash beefsteak types. As always, I start with a sifted seed starter mix. Even seed starter has sticks and large bits in there, and you want to give your roots every chance they can. This is called a classifier, and it is a 1/4 inch classifier. That's the size of the hardware cloth, the metal cloth. And it's usually used for sifting in gemstones when you're hunting gemstones in the sand in a river or something. But it works great for sifting the seed starter to get the twigs and sticks out to give the roots a chance to grow. I then fill up my 6L with the sifted stuff, and I add some water to get it a moist and tap it down to remove any air pockets. I am planting 9 different types of slicer beefsteak, the larger size tomatoes. I have 3 new to me, and the other 6 are tomatoes that I have done in the past. 5 of the 6 I've done very consistently. One of them I just didn't do last year. I was out of seeds, didn't realize it, and said, all right, I got enough in. So 9 types of seeds going in today. I am starting with the pineapple, which is a new to me pineapple tomato. I like the variegated color. Of this, I'm only going to do 6 total, which is 3 cells, 2 seeds per cell. Really, probably means I'm going to end up with 3 seedlings. 2 per cell. I'm going to plant these about a 1/4 inch deep, which is about a centimeter or so. And I'm going to label them all. And I'm going to cover them with soil, again, about a 1/4 inch soil. Tap them in to get some good contact. Next up, again, new to me, is a tomato called Rio Grande. Again, 3 cells, 2 per cell, and that makes about a 6 total. And again, I'm going to do this about a 1/4 inch deep, centimeter or so, and I'm going to add a little of that light fluffy soil on top, the seed starter, and I'm going to label all of them. 6 total seeds in, probably going to end up with about 3 really healthy seedlings. Next, Manitoba, another one new to me, which a friend of mine recommended. So I'm going to give it a shot. 6 total, 3 cells, 2 seeds per cell, about a 1/4 inch deep. We'll label them all, and then cover them up with some light fluffy soil. Tap it down lightly just to get some good seed to starter soil contact. Black Seaman. This is a tomato I love. My whole family loves. I'm going to do 12 total, 6 cells, 2 per cell, and a 1/4 inch deep. And I will label all of these and cover it up with about a centimeter or about a 1/4 inch of soil. Get some good contact. Next up, the beefsteak, which I'm going to plant a total of 12, 6 cells, 2 per. I'll probably end up with 6, 8 or so good ones, and these will be both in my home garden and on my Cape garden. They're great everyday tomatoes. Again, label and some contact with soil. Giant Crimson, a favorite of the family, big, large tomato, great for making fantastic grilled cheese. 6 cells, 2 per cell. End up with a good 6 or 8, again, in both the Cape and the home garden. And then Mushroom Basket, 12 total, which is 2 per And this one doesn't have as good a germination rate for me for some reason, so I'll probably only end up with 6 healthy seedlings. 2 per cell, 12 total, so end up about with 6 healthy. Cover with the soil, get some good contact, and then Jubilee, which I did not do last year, which kind of bummed. I love doing them, but didn't have the seeds left over. So this year I'm going to do 6 of these, 2 per cell, 3 cells, and label it and good contact with the soil. The Brandywine yellow, I like the different color. I'm going to do 6 total. I ended up with 2 really healthy Brandywine last year. I'm hoping for 3 this year. Next up, Black Crim. Again, another family favorite. Slightly different color, a darker color. 12 total, that's 6 cells, 2 per cell, 2 seeds per cell. Label them and cover them up with about 1/4 inch of some soil. Press it down to get good contact. I will then put it on the heat mat under the lights, and I will spritz the tops. You don't want any of the soil to dry out. You don't want the seeds to dry out. So make sure the top of the cells are good and wet. In addition to sowing the seeds for those slicer and beefsteaks, I also noticed that my Roma tomatoes need potting up. So I'm going to do a quick little potting up of a half dozen or so of the Roma tomato. So I noticed that some of my Roma tomatoes need potting up. I'm going to start with some potting soil in the bottom, make a nice little hole so that I will take the blunt end, the back end of the spoon, dig out the seedlings from the little cells, the 1-inch cells, and I will be very careful and put some seed starter around the tops to fill in the rest. And that's to give some good support for the seedlings. Again, the back end of a spoon, and I will try and carefully pry up the seedling, put some soil around it, tamp it down. You don't want any air pockets. Label everything. This is the second batch of Roma that I am potting up. I did a few about 2 weeks ago, 4 of them 2 weeks ago, and I'm going to do these for this weekend. Again, label everything, and then under the heat mats. Here's a quick look at all of the slicer beefsteak type that I did today. And the Roma tomato I potted up a couple of weeks ago. And lastly, I want to talk about fertilizing seedlings. I use a very mild 1-1-1 NPK. That's 1% nitrogen, potassium, and calcium. 1-1-1. And it says use 4 teaspoons per gallon. I use it as 1 per gallon on my seedlings. And that very weak is just enough. The seed itself has plenty of nutrition, but once you get first true leaves, and even when it's first a seedling, it's okay to have a little bit of nutrients in there so that the roots will pull down. Again, I have a heavily diluted, which says it should be 1-1-1, which really I guess translates to closer to 1/4 if you really do the math out. Use any good quality liquid fertilizer. I'm using a 1-1-1 mild fertilizer 1-1-1 NPK. It asks for 4 teaspoons per gallon. I use 1 per gallon. And put it in the pot and then fill it up with water that thoroughly mixes it, and then pour that into the bottom of your trays. Do bottom water things. For something like these seedlings that I just did, I will pour some in, and then I will add just fresh water to dilute it even further. But anything with seedlings already growing, Use that one. I cut it in a quarter or a half, depending on how big the seedlings are. And that was beefsteak and slicer tomatoes, and also potting up half dozen or so of the Roma. I did 4 of the Romas last week, actually 10 days ago, 2 weeks ago, and then another 4 today. I hope you learned a little something with the method I use to pot up and the method I use to sow my seedlings. And I hope this helps you grow, and then that you can like, share, and subscribe, and that will help me grow. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.